everyone. I hope you all are having a wonderful day. I have my boy.
Huh?
All right. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and I guess finish it off. I said I was gonna do the whole trial. Is it kind of long, Plum?
Yep.
It's kind of long, so we're gonna do it all. Yeah, we're gonna do it all. I hope you all enjoy. Thank you for watching, and let's go, Plum. All right. I almost messed up again. Okay, let's go. Episode Ace Attorney, episode 4, the Cosmic Turnabout. Trial Day 2. December 20th, 10:15 a.m. District Courtroom number 5.
Let's get for it. All right.
Me too. Court is down in session. Where's the judge? I suppose we should reconvene the trial of Solomon Starbuck or something.
Objection!
Your Honor, could you please come out from under your bench? There are no more bumps, I promise.
Oh, yes, my apologies. I'm still a little jumpy when it comes to trials involving bumps. I mean, first the courtroom exploded. I'm just going to the mic.
Yeah.
And then Mr. Tornate self-destructed.
I guess that's one way of describing what happened to Tornate.
Anyway, it seems that Mr. Justice was seriously wounded by Mr. Tornate's actions. So you, Mr. Wright, will be taking up the defense. Do you have an understanding of what has happened in the trial so far?
Yes, Your Honor. The defense is ready.
Very well. Is the prosecution also ready? Take you like me to give the opening statement this time? Looks like the judge has become a pretty good mind reader.
Well, he's certainly seen more than his fair share of colorful prosecutors. You could say he's something of a veteran of sorts.
Let's see. In the previous part of this trial, we learned that the victim, Clay Terran, escaped from Launchpad 1 carrying the defendant, Solomon Starbuck. There were explosions on the second floor of the Space Center and on the rocket itself. Hey, Dave, how's it going tonight? We are here. We're going to do the whole trial. I hope you're ready. The two astronauts used the Launchpad 1 corridor to reach the boarding lounge.
And
how could the victim climb down the ladder if he was carrying the defendant? That was the mystery that needed to be solved. But Mr. Justice proved that the victim was killed in the boarding lounge. We are doing fine tonight.
I'm fine!
I got me some rest, so a little rest. You know, I'm still on my 10-hour shift, so I was good to go tonight. Hey, Game Queen 81, how's it going? Prosecutor Blackfield, were you able to discover any new facts related to this point?
Upon further investigation, we discovered an oxygen tank fragment in the lounge. Surprisingly, it would appear that Justice Dono's argument was correct.
So that means the testimonies of the first two people on the scene are suspect.
There were two people who claimed to be the first on the scene. But can we truly trust their statements?
Let's see, the two people were Detective Candace Arm and Yuri Cosmos, right? You think that one of them might have given a false statement to the police?
Yes, it's certainly possible. We might have to do a little more digging. And just as our team was about to cross-examine Detective Arm, the courtroom bombing incident occurred, and the trial was put on hold. That accursed fellow! He killed my witness! He killed Detective Arm!
He definitely put the caboose on anyone asking her about what she saw.
Exactly. In other words, the question of who killed the victim in the boarding lounge has once again become the main focus of this trial. It's obvious Prosecutor Blackwell still thinks it was Mr. Starbuck. Fulbright said that Blackwell has a thing against the astronaut. Nevertheless, the defense argues there was a third person in the lounge, and that's who killed the victim.
Objection!
To make such reckless claims in a courtroom takes a bold man or a stupid one. There was no third person in the boarding lounge. Or have you gone dotty already, old man?
Objection!
We'll see who's the dotard after I trounce you with my years of experience, little boy.
Ooh!
In any case, Mr. Starbuck claims he saw someone leaving the lounge. Furthermore, a Space Center employee also saw a suspicious figure at the scene.
They saw a third person? Phoenix said, little boy.
Little boy? I see my sister has been running her mouth. That's right. I almost forgot that Aura is Prosecutor Blackwell's sister. No matter. She didn't see this mystery person's face clearly. Therefore, there's no evidence to indicate that this person was not the defendant. I guess the possibility that the figure was Mr. Starbuck is still there. In brief, we need to determine if a third person was there or not. To this end, we should hear the testimony of one of the first people. Okay. To this end. Oh my God, I can't say this. To this end, we should hear the testimony of one of the first people on the scene.
Director Cosmos, huh? Very well. Please bring the witness to the stand.
Oh boy.
What happened to the sound? Did you do something?
Wait a second, let me see something.
Why, I believe I've seen you before in the newspapers. Hold on, what? I can't even hear. What you done did to the... Terminator messed up the music, y'all.
I didn't do that. I just be moving.
Can y'all hear? Can y'all hear the game?
I like my back like this. It might be over.
It's over before it started. There it go.
Are you good?
We good.
Of course you have. Of course. I can't do this voice. Of course you have. Of course you have. For I am your Cosmos. Director of the Cosmos Space Center, which was, of course was named after me, your Cosmos. Don't you have anything you wish to ask me?
Turn it down a little bit, though. Looks like she's all geared up to do some bragging.
7 years ago, I successfully launched the Hat 1, and... everyone already knows how brilliant you are. Even I'm trying to hold back my tears at seeing such a great man standing before me.
And I complain about my little 10 hours day. Anyway.
So could you please proceed directly to your important testimony? I see this fine young lad has a proper appreciation of greatness. Then allow me to begin my official testimony.
Really do.
That will be recorded in the annals of history.
That speech of Professor Blackquill's just now, it sounded more to me like he was poking fun at Director Cosmos.
It's probably for the best that it sailed right over the director's head.
Now then, Director Cosmos, the condensed version of your illustrious testimony, please. Witness testimony. What I saw at the scene.
Detective Arm and I rushed towards the boarding lounge together. We went via the control room and peeked in from there to see what was going on inside. We saw a figure standing in the middle of the lounge and Terran lying on the floor. I hate to say it, but I can only imagine the standing figure must have been Starbuck.
I see. So in your testimony you claim you arrived on the scene after the two had escaped from the launch pad to the lounge. And just after the victim had been killed.
Oh, the horror! The humanity! But what I said is what I saw, and what I saw is what I said. Courageous action to take in the face of such terrifying explosions, when you say? To save my men, I went personally into the epicenter of danger. Risking my own life for theirs! Ha 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 ha!
Well, what do you know? It sounds like the director really cares about his men.
Yeah, although it sounds more like he was scared and just had a peek from far away.
Is the defense ready to cross-examine the witness?
Yes, Your Honor. Director Cosmos' testimony is pretty vague. I'm gonna have to press him and draw out more information before I do anything else.
All right, Phoenix, you got it. Cross-examination.
You would call Blackwell a little boy.
What I saw at the scene. Detective Orm and I rushed towards the boarding lounge together.
Hold it!
Where were you coming from? The 6th floor. We are making sure any striped stragglers made their way to the 4th floor. It was then we heard about Starbuck and Terran and hurried to the 3rd floor lounge. Oh my. Galactic scooter, of course. Oh god, I can't do this. On my galactic scooter here, of course. Why do you keep calling it galactic? Does it have something to do with space? Of course! It's specifically designed to be used on galactic battleships. I see. I take it works at 0G too? Sadly no, with the current state of technology as it is. I'm afraid it would just float about and be galactically useless. Well, that's a galactic bomber.
I see. So you rushed to the boarding lounge on your space age pogo stick. And when you got to the scene, what did you see? You went via the control room and peeked in from there to see what was going on inside.
Hold it!
Let's see. According to this diagram, you didn't have to go through the control room to get to boarding lounge 1. It looks like you could have gone there from the southern corridor as well.
Yes, but in her haste, Detective Arm rushed ahead of me towards the control room. All I could do was merely follow behind her.
I see.
So we peeked into the boarding lounge from the control room door and...
We saw a figure standing in the middle of the lounge and Terran lying on the floor.
Hold it!
So you couldn't see who that figure was clearly or what they were doing?
Sadly, the only thing I could tell was there was a person standing motionless.
The defendant, no doubt, staring aghast at his deed. What other explanation is there? Ugh, I'm so close. Without evidence, I can't prove that the person's the third party.
I don't relish in this. And...
I hate to say it, but I can only imagine the standing figure must have been Starbuck.
Hold it!
Or Blackquill also saw a suspicious figure in the lounge. But she gave the statement that it was too dark to see the person's face clearly. Did you see this figure's face clearly?
no, not clearly. The lighter they were holding illuminated the area around their feet at the time. But other than that, I could see little else. That's why I could see Terran, but I couldn't see who the other person was. So for all you know, it might not have been Mr. Starbuck. Isn't that correct?
Hello, Phoenix.
I would like to believe that Starbuck isn't the type of man who's capable of murder.
Objection!
When the witness entered the boarding lounge, there was no third person there. Isn't that correct, Great Space Center Director?
Yes, that's right. Only Starbuck and Terran were there by that time. After we peeked in, the lounge suddenly went dark, and the figure vanished.
You mean they disappeared? That's odd.
Objection!
The reason the figure appeared to vanish is because it was the defendant. When the witnesses weren't looking, he fell to the floor and feigned unconsciousness.
Hold it!
Hold on, Director Cosmos, did you ever take your eyes off the scene? Just for a brief instant, about as long as it takes for a shooting star to go by.
If you took your eyes off the scene,
then this third person could have escaped during that time.
But what escape route could this person have used?
the direction opposite of the control room, the southern door to the southern door, the direction opposite the control room, the southern door to the elevators. There's no security lock on that door, so it would have been possible to escape that way.
Objection!
All things are possible, right, Dono? The real question is, do you have any proof? Well... If we're just talking possibilities, we could each profess wherever we'd like. An inmate who used to be a university professor and lunar researcher used to say that there is a kingdom of little green men who live under the surface of the moon. As long as they don't punish us in the name of said moon for what we've done to it. But I say, where's your proof that this quaint kingdom exists?
He's calling your theory a work of fiction, boss.
And he's right. I don't have any proof yet. Still. The southern door was a possible escape route. I'd better make a mental note of that.
Director Cosmos, may I ask you a question? Yes? Why don't you look away from the boarding lounge? There's actually another tale of bravery behind the answer to that. It was when Detective Arms saw the figure and raised her gun. Being a great humanitarian and protector of mankind, I tried to stop her. What? You're saying Detective Arm raised her gun as soon as she saw the figure? I imagine her instincts as a detective told her they were the killer. I don't know about that. And were you able to prevent Detective Arm from firing her gun? I'm afraid I was too late. I was unable to stop her. She identified herself clearly, and then she fired 2 warning shots at the shadowy figure.
This information about Detective Orm's actions sound critically important. Please add it to your testimony.
Detective Arm fired 2 warning shots at the figure.
Hold it!
Any of these 2 shots hit the culprit? That is correct. The detective appears to have missed on purpose. But did she really? There's something about this that bothers me. So Detective Arm fired 2 warning shots, did she? That's the first time that info has come out. Wonder if I can find any inconsistencies.
Okie dokie. So,
Okie dokie.
At the scene, we only saw one.
Ooh.
One.
What?
Let me see.
What you got in the evidence?
A single bullet hole was found in the wooden lounge. The bullet itself is missing. Is this the bullet?
That's a different caliber of a gun.
Oh, okay. So it was 2 guns?
No, you was well, I ain't gonna say nothing. But you was on the right track with what you originally said. We only saw 1 bullet hole.
Detective On fired 2 warning shots at the figure.
Objection!
I tried it.
Are you sure you were really paying attention to what Detective Arm was doing? You doubt my words? Words that will someday be written down in the history books? Somehow, I don't think those exact words will ever be written down in any history books.
Mr. Wright, could you please explain yourself so that we can all understand?
You said Detective Arm fired 2 warning shots. And yet, only 1 bullet hole was ever found at the scene. What? Only 1 bullet hole means that the gun was only fired once. And yet, Director Cosmos is saying Detective Arm fired 2 shots. No editor will allow such a glaring contradiction into a history book.
Objection!
Unfortunately for you, the witness's words are true. We confirm that 2 shots were fired from Detective Arm's gun.
Objection!
But there was only 1 bullet hole at the scene. Where'd the other bullet hole vanish to? Ah! You should know the answer to that already. I should? During the previous trial, a certain oxygen tank was presented as evidence. We've already discussed that was ruptured in the lounge, have we not? Well, it appears that the thing that ruptured it was a bullet. A bullet that was found near the tank to be precise.
This bullet was fired from a 38 caliber gun, the same caliber as the detective's gun. What?
Oxygen tank updated in the oxygen tank data updated in the court record. The victim's oxygen tank was struck by a bullet.
The rifling marks also match up. There's no question that the bullet was fired from Detective Arm's gun.
Bullet from Arm's gun added to the court record. The bullet found near the victim's oxygen tank. It was fired from a 38 caliber handgun. Rifling marks, they're like a gun's fingerprints on a bullet, correct? And examining the rifling marks on a bullet can tell us the gun it was fired from. Oh, that was a question anyway.
One of the bullets the detective fired found its way into the holographic image display. The other bullet came to a stop near the victim's oxygen tank. The evidence confirms that the director's statement that the detective fired 2 shots.
My beautiful contradiction. Gone. Oh, gone.
So that bullet hole from a 38 caliber. So that bullet hole was from a 38 caliber, huh? I better update the record. Bullet hole updated in the court record. The only bullet hole found in the boarding lounge. It was made by a bullet fired from a 38 caliber gun. Very good. Now we know the fate of both of the shots Detective Arm fired. Mr. Wright, does that clear up all of your questions?
Detective Arm fired 2 warning shots. One hit the holographic display, and the other hit the oxygen tank. Does that really clear up everything about what happened at the scene?
Yup. Let's keep going, guys. No.
I'm gonna say no anyway.
Yeah?
What is it then?
I think Starbuck is guilty. I think he did it.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a clear up everything.
What? What doesn't clear up?
Everything.
Everything. Everything.
What is it? No.
No, it's not.
It's no. It's
always no. Except when it isn't.
No, Your Honor, it doesn't. Detective Arm fired 2 warning shots from a 38 caliber gun. But that doesn't explain the existence of a certain piece of evidence found at the scene. A piece that points to the existence of a third person. Oh.
Very well, but it won't do to keep us waiting, Mr. Wright. What piece of evidence suggests the possibility of a third person at the scene?
My attorney's badge. I'm
Really?
always there, baby.
Really? Let me see. This,
Nope.
right here?
Nope.
The door locked to the east. It can be.
What did Phoenix just say?
No, I forgot.
Go to the backlog. You got a backlog now. Press Y.
Oh, that's right. We surely do. If he's that.
Hold
on. Phoenix
That's
said
it, right.
Detective Arm fired 2 warning shots from a 38 caliber gun. But that doesn't explain the existence of a certain piece of evidence found at the scene.
Ooh.
That other bullet.
Take that!
And what is this metal pellet supposed to be?
Just a little something of great importance we found at the crime scene, Your Honor. You found it where? In the floor gutter at the crime scene. It looks like the police and prosecution both missed it. Furthermore, this is a 10 caliber bullet, making it much smaller than one of Detective Arm's 38 calibers.
Then that means
Exactly. One more person must have been there in the lounge. A third person who had a gun that could fire 10 caliber bullets.
Uh-oh.
Ah! If that's true, it explains why Detective Arm fired warning shots. This third person fired at Detective Arm and directed Cosmos with their gun. And in return, the detective fired her warning shots. Isn't that how it really went down, Director Cosmos? Ha ha! It looks like you've deduced my miraculous tale of survival. Yes, you're absolutely correct. The mystery person fired upon us.
They should hold him in contempt.
Yes, they should.
Oh my goodness. What's this now?
Yes, they should.
What? You never breathed a word of any of this to me before.
Well, all great men have a secret or two, don't you know?
Stupid old geezer.
So Director Cosmos really has been hiding the presence of a third person all along? Director Cosmos, I want you to testify to the court about what you really saw.
You may be a very great man, but in my courtroom, you are just another witness. You won't receive special treatment here. Now please give accurate testimony. Witness testimony. What I really saw at the scene.
Detective Arm and I rushed to the control room together. In the lounge, we saw a figure standing in the middle of the room and tearing on the floor. We were still in the control room to the east when the figure fired at us. Oh?
Given that there was no third person in the lounge when the witness entered it, does this mean the person who fired the gun had to have been the defendant?
Not necessarily. It's still possible that it was someone else. Most likely, as soon as Detective Arm and Director Cosmos discovered this person, they escaped through the southern door. That one didn't have a security lock.
Objection!
Double-edged swords are a tricky lot. Mishandle one, and it's you who is cut down.
Huh?
Your reasoning could apply if Space Boy were the killer as well. Think about it. After being discovered, he could have fired the 10 caliber gun. Detective Arm would have responded by firing 2 warning shots. All he had to do was feign unconsciousness to evict the possibility of a third person.
Objection!
But Mr. Starbuck didn't have a gun in his possession when he was found by police. Nor has a gun been found at the crime scene. Its absence can only be explained if there was a third person who took it with them.
Objection!
Recall the existence of a trash chute in the boarding lounge. The defendant could have simply thrown the gun down the chute.
Objection!
But you can't deny the possibility of a third person leaving with the weapon.
Objection!
It's up to you to prove that possibility. And I trust you haven't forgotten my little piece of decisive evidence.
What evidence?
Why, the detonator switch that was found in Mr. Starbuck's pocket, naturally. The most compelling evidence of all that tells us he is the culprit.
Ah! I did forget all about that.
Look, your baldness, how deliciously obvious it is that they lack the evidence to rival mine.
Wow, he sliced our third person theory to ribbons and served it to us. Just like that. Yes, well, I have a question of my own, actually. That bullet that the mysterious figure shot, what did it hit exactly?
It hit me.
So does that mean you're a ghost?
I was wondering when you would realize it, your baldness. Director Cosmos is an authentic, bona fide ghost. He can even pass through walls.
Eek!
Objection!
Prosecutor Black Queen. I mispronounced his name. Prosecutor Black Quill, shame on you for teasing the nice old gentleman.
Your baldness, it was all in jest. Please show yourself again.
Are you sure? In that case, how did you manage to survive being shot? Director Cosmos?
Ha ha ha! I'm glad you asked. It was a miracle befitting a great history-making figure such as myself. The bullet hit my glorious Medal of Honor, whereby it ricocheted, thus saving my life.
What?
That's unbelievable.
I have to check this out. Oh wow, look at that. That's one extra Gayaxa store.
The odds are literally astronomical. I guess it really was a miracle.
It's beginning to really feel like the Cosmos is watching out for the Director Cosmos. But why did you conceal this information, Director Cosmos?
A great man such as myself has to hide things on occasion, no matter how much it hurts. It is the plight of the truly great. It may be hard for this generation to understand.
I don't know, but it sounds fishy to me. What else is he hiding?
Let's just cross-examine them and see what we can find out.
No then, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please.
Well,
Cross-examination. What I really saw at the scene. Detective Orm and I rushed to the control room center together.
Hold it!
you've already heard all about that point. Don't you have any new information?
Well, let me see. If you have an hour or two, I could tell you all about the Hat One miracle.
That's okay.
Hold it!
We already know all about that too. Tell us about something related to this incident. I see. You want to know about incidents. Well then, let me tell you about the many incidents that made me the man I am today. Yes, if you have the time, I will tell you all about the upbringing of this great man.
Hold it!
You've told us all about that already as well. What we need now is your testimony. Did I really already tell you all about my upbringing? I don't recall doing so.
Director Cosmos, perhaps you could save your boastful tales for later.
If I must. Well, we peeked in through the control room door and...
In the lounge, we saw a figure standing in the middle of the room and tearing on the floor.
Hold it!
But it was so dark, you couldn't see this figure's face. Isn't that right?
Yes, the room was as deep and dark as... Yes, the room was as deep and dark as outer space itself. Speaking of outer space, during the Hat 1 launch 7 years ago...
If it's about that Hat 1 miracle again, you can saw it off and tell it to a stray mutt.
Ha ha ha! Excellent idea! No reason why the animal world shouldn't hear of my greatness.
And so they shall. But first, your testimony. What happened next?
We were still in this control room to the east when the figure fired at us.
Hold it!
So, in other words, you were fired at while you were at the control room door?
That is correct.
There's something not quite right about that. Director Cosmos, the bullet this person fired hit you, isn't that right?
Yes, it was a miracle. A miracle befitting a great history-making figure such as myself. The bullet the figure fired hit me while I was in the control room. But as the Cosmos would have it, the bullet bounced off my glorious Medal of Honor.
In that case, the bullet should have wound up somewhere around the control room door.
Okay, so Director Cosmos was in the control room to the east.
While he was there, he was shot at by someone with a 10 caliber gun.
But the bullet hit his medal, so he was able to escape with his life. He's a very lucky man. No wonder people think he's great.
Hey, I'm pretty lucky myself. So if he's a great man, then I'm king of all the cosmos.
Really, Phoenix?
Detective Orm and I rushed to the control room to get ours. We already read this.
We did.
Okay, let me see. In the lounge.
Pretty obvious, so I'm not gonna help you.
We were still in the control room to the east when the figure fired at us. What do you mean? It's pretty obvious. Hold on. He said they were in the control room when this bullet was discovered in the boarding lounge. So that's a contradiction.
That's you got the right piece of evidence, but the control room and the boarding lounge is right next to each other. I told you was right, but you was right. you was right for the wrong reason.
Ah, so I'm right, but not technically right.
Yeah,
We were still in the control room to the east when the figure fired at us.
The bullet, what was the bullet discovered?
It was in that gutter.
Yeah, so if it was fired at the east, it would have landed up somewhere near him, but it wasn't.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. He was south. He was on the south wall. Hold on, it was the bullet was along the south wall, and he said they were in the east. Anyway.
Objection!
Director Cosmos, I believe you're telling this great court a glorious fib. A great man like me tell a fib? Have you ever heard of such a thing in all of history? My accusation is based on the positions of the people who were in the lounge. According to your testimony, you and Detective Arm were near the control room door. And the mystery figure was standing in the middle of the boarding lounge. If, as you say, the figure fired a gun at you from this position, then the bullet would have traveled in this direction. However, we found the 10 caliber bullet here. Oh! This trajectory and where the bullet was actually found contradict each other. Director Cosmos, where were you really when you were being shot at? Ah! Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the human merry-go-round.
Objection!
Don't tell me you've forgotten already. Didn't the witness himself just tell you the bullets hit his medal? Of this, there is no mistake.
Objection!
But in that case, the bullet should have been found near the east side of the room. Are you trying to say that you can explain this inconsistency? Of course. I didn't think so. What? Oh, great Director Cosmos.
Yes? Is there something you'd like me to expand upon?
You were in fact not in the control room to the east, were you? You were looking into the lounge from the door to the south. Is that not right?
Ah!
What are you getting at? Use your own brain. Your head must have some use other than housing that bird's nest.
Bird's nest? Why does everyone pick on my hair?
Man, Apollo.
Director Cosmos and the detective witnessed the scene from the southern door.
Hey, Garrison, how's it going? Thank you so much. I appreciate you for stopping by.
You appreciate
Oh, you started Breath of the Wild. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's a fun game. It's a fun game to start. And I also love the voice acting for the Ace Attorney games. Thank you. That's my son. Appreciate you for stopping by and chatting with us.
The killer fired at them there, and that is why the bullet was found in the south.
That makes some sense, actually.
Also, the witness being at the southern door is rather favorable for the prosecution.
Huh? I've got a bad feeling about this.
How about it, Director, if you don't tell the truth this time?
Yikes! His handcuffs!
You will become but rust upon my sword. I relish the chance to cut down a great man.
Alright, I'll tell the truth. Just put your sword away. You are correct. The great year Cosmos was looking into the room from the southern door. What? That's the complete opposite of all the testimony he's given so far.
And now you have lost your possibility that a third person was in the room.
A half? How?
The director and the detective were near the southern door. Meaning, the killer couldn't have escaped through there. The western door required print recognition. The corridor beyond was filled with smoke. The only escape route left was the eastern control room door. And the only way to get through there was that Director Cosmos' fingerprints. In short, there would be no escape for any third person had there been one.
Ah! My third person just disappeared, like in one of Trucy's magic tricks.
Uh-oh, Phoenix, what you gonna do? Order in the court. Director Cosmos, why did you tell such an outrageous fib?
You are covering for the defendant. Isn't that right?
Yes, it was all for the love of my men. If I said I was in the eastern control room, it would mean the culprit would have escaped through the southern door. It would have meant that there could have been a third person. All I wanted to do was protect Starbuck.
Why his own sister said it was somebody.
I said I was in the control room to invent an escape route for a third person.
What a convoluted fib. Was he really covering for the defendant?
It looks like we've come to a conclusion that the defense's argument, the possibility of a third person, has crumbled. No!
It's over.
Yikes! The judge is about to hand down his verdict.
Think, Phoenix, think! This is the perfect time to try and turn my thinking around. If a third person had no way of escaping the scene, then what if one of the people at the scene was this third person? Wait, what if the whole premise is all wrong? Director Cosmos said that he and Detective Arm rushed to the scene together. But what if that premise isn't true? What if one of them reached the scene before the other one? And if that person entered the lounge, then they would be the third person!
The defendant is the only one who could have killed the victim and shot at the director. There doesn't appear to be any room for argument against these claims. I will now render my verdict.
Objection!
Please wait, Your Honor! There is still one possibility.
Oh, this had better be good, Mr. Wright.
There is one and only There is one and only one person who could have escaped from the scene. And that person will be the first person who arrived on the scene. Then, upon entering the boarding lounge, the second person to arrive came via the silent door. That's why the first person fled from the room, using an escape route that was accessible only to them.
Very well. Let's hear more about this theory. Who is this one person who killed her escaped from the boarding lounge?
Who could be?
Who is it? Let me see.
Susie, she used the magic trick,
What Pearl
like her
said.
father.
What Pearl said. They got them two robots there.
Yeah. How is the robots? How are the robots? No, they got no registration.
Pucko. Okay, who is this one person who could have escaped from the boarding lounge? Her? I'm just kidding.
Nope.
Kidding him?
Yeah.
Cause he's the only one with the excess.
Take that!
What? But that's Mr. Wright. What are you claiming here?
Of all the people who were at the scene, only the witness could have escaped. The director is the only one with the authority to open the control room door, after all.
But that means
Exactly. The true identity of the third person is our current witness, Director Yuri Cosmos.
uh-oh.
Ah! What?
What? Order in the court, I say. Mr. Wright, will you explain yourself in more detail?
I assert that Director Cosmos arrived at the scene before Detective Arm and entered the boarding lounge alone. Detective Arm arrived after that and saw a suspicious figure who was actually Director Cosmos standing in the lounge. And that's why she fired those 2 warning shots. Gag! I've been hit! I've been hit on the starboard side!
Captain Wright, it is a direct hit on the enemy ship, sir. A magnificent shot.
Warning shots fired from the enemy ship. Prepare to intercept. Cosmos, you have told a fib in this court once again. I've been hit! I've been hit on the port side! The enemy has called in reinforcements! Earth to Cosmos Control Center, requesting permission to ask that you return to reality. But my ship will not go down to anything less than the ultimate weapon of evidence!
Objection!
But I do have evidence. In fact, You could say that your battleship bears its scar. If Director Cosmos is the third person, or a black whale saw, this third person fired at Detective Arm and Director Cosmos with their gun. And in return, the detective fired her warning shots. Isn't that how it really went down, Director Cosmos? It looks like you've deduced my miraculous tale of survival.
I don't know if I said that.
Yes, you're absolutely correct. The mystery person fired upon us. Director Cosmos must have been the one who fired the 10 caliber gun. When Detective Arm discovered him in the lounge, it only makes sense that he would have turned and shot at her. Therefore, the evidence on the director's body is of a different kind of relevance than before. Once we compare it against another piece of evidence, the mark that you receive from the third party will all be the
Really, dude.
the mark that you receive from the third party will be all the proof we need to prove that you were the one there in the lounge. Brace for further impact! Comparison against this piece of evidence will prove that you were the one in the lounge.
Let me see. Now, hold on. What is they talking about? Hold on.
You
got shot, didn't it?
Yeah, he got shot. The bullet? Them bullets? This right here from Detective Arm shot him.
Yeah.
So it'll be this bullet here, her bullet.
Take that!
The 38 caliber bullet found on the floor at the scene didn't hit the oxygen tank. It hit Director Cosmos' metal. If we have that ricochet mark on the metal analyzed, I'm sure the caliber will match up. If that mark proves to be from a 38 caliber bullet, it will prove that you are the third person we've been looking for. Gog! The bridge is destroyed! Losing altitude! All hands! Abandoned ship!
If that's true, then what about the bullet that hit the oxygen tank?
It was the 10 caliber bullet. In other words, it was the bullet fired by Yuri Cosmos. Isn't that right, Director? No! You've got it all wrong! What? The engines have started again? It's a miracle! I'm not going down yet!
Witness, stop this at once and confess the truth.
If you don't want the history books to say that a great man was a great fibber,
Then accept your fate and tell the truth.
are you giving me orders? Me, the great director of the Cosmos Space Center? God! But the Cosmos revolves around me!
Spinning around in that thing.
Someone get me off this thing!
You done lost control of it.
Don't fall asleep, Bishop.
Order in this court. And will someone please stop the witness from spinning? Through that guiltness, we were able to stop him from spinning off the face of the earth.
While he was twirling, I took the liberty of running an analysis on the mark on the metal. It was made by a 38 caliber bullet, matching it with the size of Detective Arm's firearm.
Are you ready to confess the truth, witness?
No! You've got it all wrong! This is just a misunderstanding!
Is he going to start piling on more fibs?
Looks like it. But no matter how many fibs he tells, I'll just expose them one by one. I'll make that big fibber tell the truth.
Uh-oh, Phoenix determined.
Yep. And that's it.
That's all?
Yep. We can do part 2 and shit, you know.
7. You want to do what? You want to do it or what?
Well, I'm telling you, they gonna do that stupid move, Matrix junk. We gonna be on here for 5 hours. That's just good.
Okay, well,
we can do it if you want.
How long you think it's gonna take?
And probably not that long. Probably about the same as this one.
Y'all want to do another hour? I'll leave it to the chat. If y'all want to do another hour, we'll do another hour. Where my Jeopardy music at?
Jeopardy.
Game Queen 81 Day. Y'all want to finish this up or what?
Do you want to finish it up?
They probably
Do
going.
you want to finish it up?
Well, it's only 7 o'clock. I guess we can. We can.
Yeah.
You want to do it?
I got water.
You ready? Okay, let's go.
That's me. Oh, wait, I already beat the game. I'm cursed. Alright, if we doing this ending gonna surprise you. That's all I'm gonna say.
What?
The ending to this case gonna surprise you.
It's gonna surprise y'all. Ready for a surprise? I'm down for another. Okay, Dave. All right, let's go. Let's go.
Oh, yeah, I didn't see this coming. You gotta press B. Yeah, you gotta press B on this screen. Yeah, just press yes.
I read the Cosmos. A new possibility has been presented by the defense. They are claiming that you were the third person.
Forgive me. I'm so sorry. So the great pioneer of space development is revealed to be just another fabulous cur. I only have one question for the likes of you. Shall I send you off quickly or very quickly? The evidence doesn't fib Director Cosmos, so don't try to talk your way out of this. Fine, I'll tell the truth. It's all just as you say, Mr. Wright. It's true that I was there in the boarding lounge. I got there before Detective Arm, and when she arrived, she fired warning shots at me.
I don't think they were warning shots as she fired at you. Anyway.
I was afraid people would mistake me for the killer, so I escaped to the control room. I then went past the elevators and all the way around the boarding lounge 1 again. I came up behind Detective Arm and pretended to be the second on the scene. What a troublesome old man you are, with such convoluted deeds and thoughts.
I see. So then, are you still insisting that you did not kill the victim?
Of course I am. When I arrived at the lounge alone, I saw the true killer. The great Yuri Cosmos was a history-making witness.
Hold it!
Now hold on just one moment. We just proved a few minutes ago that the third person that Mr. Starbuck and Miss R. Blackfield saw was you. No, it wasn't me. I saw the person as well. If I were the killer, why would I fib to cover for Starbuck? I would just leave her and take the fall.
That is an excellent point.
All I wanted to do was protect Starbuck. I said I was in the control room to invent an escape route for a third person.
Well, it makes sense if someone... Oh, hold on. Well, it makes some sense if he told those fibs to cover for Mr. Starbuck.
Still, a fib's a fib, Athena.
So Director Cosmos claims he's not the culprit, but where's the proof?
I just remembered. I have an alibi. Miss Blackwell said that she saw the killer at 10 a.m., correct?
Yes, and?
Well, I was on the 4th floor helping with the evacuation effort. Ask any member of the staff you like. They'll corroborate me.
The director is not fibbing to the court for once. I confirm that he has an alibi for the time specified. So, you're claiming that Miss Blackwell saw the killer commit the crime first at 10 a.m. and that you arrived at the lounge after that?
Yes, and I believe the person I saw is the same person that Miss Blackwell saw. Although it was pitch black, so it was more of a shadowy figure and less of a person. And I couldn't actually see their face, but it was definitely the silhouette of an earthling.
As long as he has an alibi, we can't very well claim Director Cosmos was the killer.
No, we can't. Then again, maybe we don't need to yet. I wonder if he really was covering for Mr. Starbuck. Your Honor, the defense moves to have the director testify about the person he saw.
Very well. Director Cosmos, your testimony, please. Witness testimony. What I really witnessed.
As I tried to enter the lounge, the true killer inside fired a gun at me. I hid to avoid getting shot. But when I tried to get another look, they had vanished into thin air. I was near the elevator side door and, well, the launch pad 1 door. And the control room door should have been shut tight to the killer.
So you were shot at by the killer as well? And then they disappeared?
Yes, though luckily no harm came to my glorious body. Unfortunately, the bullet hit Terran's oxygen tank. I know because I heard a pang. That must have been the sound of the tank being ruptured.
Wait, but I thought the bullet hit this metal.
That was Detective Arm's bullet, remember?
Right. What a situation this is turning into. So let's see. Director Cosmos is claiming that when he found Mr. Terran and his killer, the culprit shot a 10 caliber bullet at him.
Right, but in actuality... Right, but it actually hit Mr. Terran's oxygen tank and ruptured it.
And then the killer disappeared and the director went into the boarding lounge. When Detective Arm cut up and fired those warning shots at him, judging by his medal, it looks like one of them almost took him out too.
Good summary, but that doesn't explain where our mystery killer went. Director Cosmos, I was wondering if you could elaborate on when the figure disappeared.
I'm ashamed to admit I tried to hide myself when I was shot at, but when I peeped back into the lounge, the real killer was gone. I rushed into the lounge straight away to investigate. But what I found was Terran with a knife in his chest and Starbuck out cold on the floor.
So we have a culprit who vanished from a scene that had no escape route?
Vanished without a trace. It's truly like one of the great mysteries of the cosmos.
Silence!
A riddle of the ages indeed, but I'd rather know how a fibbing leech such as you can be lauded as great.
A great man is always misunderstood in his own time. But he must remain true to himself, even if those around him don't understand.
Wow, that might be the first true statement he's said all day. But how do you suppose this person managed to vanish so suddenly? Simple, because it was Spaceboy himself. When he was spotted by the director and Aura, he quickly feigned unconsciousness. That would certainly take all the mystery out of the idea of a vanishing culprit. I want to raise an objection, but I don't have any counter evidence. Director Cosmos, when you saw this person, did you also see Mr. Starbuck on the floor? No, because it was dark as a black hole in there. I didn't see Starbuck until the other person vanished, and I entered the room. That wasn't exactly helpful. Humph, I'm prepared to accept your surrender, right, Dono? I can't find any holes in this testimony, but I can't give up.
Mr. Wright, why don't you let me help?
No! I mean, huh? We should.
While the director was giving his testimony, I detected a cacophony of discord.
Which means he's hiding his true feelings from us, huh? This just might help us find out what happened to our vanished killer. That'd be great, Athena. Let's see what you can do with him.
You got it, boss. I wouldn't want to miss this chance to delve into a great mind. Gary Cosmos, prepare to hand over the secrets of your heart to me.
Here we go. Here we go.
What is good?
What is good?
As I tried to enter the lounge, the true killer inside fired a gun at me. I hid to avoid getting shot. But when I tried to get another look, they had vanished into thin air. I was near the elevator side door. And well, the launch pad 1 door. And the control room door should have been shut tight to the killer.
Talk about mixed feelings. You must be trying to account for a number of contradictions. Mr. Wright, maybe this time we shouldn't just look for contradictory emotions. We should also look for emotions that should be there but aren't.
I guess it shouldn't be a surprise that his mind is a convoluted place, too.
He must have felt very shaken and distressed at the time. Let's focus on the fluctuations in his emotions and see what we can uncover.
Okay. Go over. No, not this one. Not this one.
But when I tried to get another look, they had vanished into the air. You should be surprised.
Okay, yes. This is the one that got me. I was so mad. I was like, what?
You should be surprised or something.
Mm-hmm.
What is it, L?
Yeah.
Wrong button.
I think it's yellow.
Yellow?
Got it!
Got it! You must have thought it was very strange that the killer vanished into thin air.
I did. That kind of thing just doesn't happen usually.
And yet, at that time, you barely registered any shock at the occurrence.
What? Why are you...
I can only think of one reason as to why you weren't surprised by the killer's vanishing act. You must have had a good idea of where they went, isn't that right?
What? No! Of course not! That's preposterous! Only I can enter the control room. And the area beyond the launch pad door was filled with smoke, making it impassable. And as for the southern door, I was standing right there. So there was nowhere for the killer to run to. Maybe, or maybe not. You went into the room to check on Mr. Starbuck and Mr. Terran, yes? What if the culprit took that opportunity to silently slip out through the southern door? I highly doubt it. As you recall, right after I entered the lounge, Detective Arm came rushing towards it herself via the southern hallway. Anyone trying to escape through there would have been caught by her. And yet, the director wasn't surprised the killer vanished. So you're absolutely sure that there was no other escape route for the culprit to use?
It's working, boss. One more punch, and it'll be a knockout. That seems to be one more emotion that's at odds with his testimony. Go get him.
Okay, back in the Matrix it is. Time to pinpoint our way to victory. Give me the red pill. Apollo, you can take the red pill or the blue pill.
My suit's red, Mr. Wright.
Okay, but you'll die.
What?
I was near the elevator side door. Why is he sad?
Let's have one door.
He should have been surprised with this one too, here, should he?
Nope.
Or is this
Why would
emotion?
you be sad about a door?
That's yeah.
Got it!
Why you say it like that?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but you seem to be afraid of the launchpad door. The Great Year Cosmos? Afraid? And what basis do you have for that outlandish accusation? Whether I have any basis or not, you seem quite distressed by it. I'm most certainly not. Director Cosmos! There's something about the launchpad door you're not telling us, isn't there?
Wow, he's speechless. It looks like you hit the nail on the head, boss. I'll just input those 2 pieces of data, and yes, just what I wanted to see. Noise level number 70%. Presto changeo, less discord. It looks like we're on the right track.
Thanks, Athena. Now to make sense of what we've learned. Director Cosmos wasn't surprised that the culprit suddenly vanished from the lounge, which points to the possibility that he knew where the killer had escaped to. Furthermore, talking about the door to the launchpad made him uneasy. In other words, he's probably hiding something about the launchpad 1 door. When we put these 2 pieces together, only one solution to the puzzle comes to mind. Director Cosmos, did the real killer escape through here?
Where they escaped to?
What did he just say in the launchpad corridor?
Yeah, there was.
Yeah. He talk about this, right?
Take that!
The culprit went through the launchpad 1 door to escape, didn't they? Yes! I mean, no! Disaster to starboard! We're gonna crash into an asteroid! A master tactician, you are not.
But the area beyond the door was filled with smoke, wasn't it?
True, but this is still the only logical answer there is. If we can just figure out what the director is hiding about the launchpad 1 door, we should be able to iron out the logical inconsistencies. But that door requires fingerprint recognition. Unless Starbuck, Terran, and I have access. I don't see how the killer could have opened that security lock, do you? That's an easy one. The killer was right there in the boarding lounge, meaning there's a way he could have easily gotten past that security lock. Come to think of it, we did examine the prints on the fingerprint recognition device. I propose that the killer use this person's fingerprints to get past the security lock.
That was, I forget whose prints those were.
You forgot?
Hold on.
That's a shame.
I forget. Was it,
Nope.
it wasn't Clay. It was,
It was
Clay
not.
or his. Starbuck. It was one of the two. I guess Starbuck, huh? Really, dude.
Take that!
That's...
Mr. Starbuck was lying unconscious there in the boarding lounge. Anybody could have easily gone past the security lock by using Mr. Starbuck's prints. And actually, Mr. Starbuck's prints were exactly what we found on the device's screen. It looks like he does have something to hide about the Launchpad 1 door. And I'm betting it's got something to do with the culprit's escape route. But I don't have enough information to see the whole picture yet.
You know, something just occurred to me. Would you like to hear it?
Huh? Oh yes, by all means.
There's a security camera in boarding lounge 1.
Right. The one that recorded the
Victim and the defendant. What about Your Honor?
If the true culprit escaped into the Launchpad 1 corridor, then that might be recorded on the security footage as well. Then the mystery will be solved. What do you think of my logic? Hey, Calabi, how's it going?
Hello.
How you doing tonight? But that tape was, they stopped it.
I hope you didn't strain your faculties too much for that, your baldness.
I beg your pardon?
Look, we played the security footage beyond this point.
Oh my, the footage cuts off. Black Quill trying to get, he been acting crazy tonight.
The camera was running on backup power, but apparently the power cables were damaged. Most likely by the after effects of the explosion. There's no footage after this, be it of criminals or space aliens.
And I thought it was such a good idea too.
Just because your grandchild is watching from the gallery, it doesn't mean you should try to show off too much, Grandpa Baldness.
Prosecutor Blackwell, how did you know about my grandchild? I think his grandchild just learned a little about the harshness of the adult world.
Setting aside the issue of grandchildren, I'd like to have the witness continue. Director Cosmos, could you tell us more about what you seen? What? About when you entered the lounge again? If I must. Here we go again. I hid to avoid getting shot. After the killer vanished, I went into the lounge. But that's when Detective Arm appeared from the elevator side door. And then the detective shot at me. So you see, the killer could have only escaped to the launch pad, right?
Uh-oh, which one of these? That's one of the detective. Oh, he was surprised.
Oh yeah, this one is stupid. This one is stupid.
He should have been happy too.
Wait, go back.
Which way?
Wait, I want to show you something. Go back. Then go back again.
Go back where?
Left. So you look, notice surprise the whole way through. Like, look at it.
Surprise?
Yes. Like, go back through the statements. You see how it goes down? That's what they want you to notice.
Hold on, what goes down?
Surprise.
What you mean goes down?
He's surprised when she comes, but he's less surprised when she shoots at him. You notice how it stops flickering as much? So yeah.
Anyway.
Got it!
Director Cosmos. Why were you so surprised when Detective Worm found you, and again when she fired? Isn't that a bit unnatural?
Right, anyway, Dave.
Sadly, even great men such as myself have ordinary human feelings. Our bodies are bound by the forces of gravity and emotions. Even a great man such as myself experiences surprise on occasion. Yes, I'm sure you do. But my real point is not the fact that you were surprised, but rather what you were surprised by. Pardon me? First, you were surprised when Detective Arm found you in the lounge. And just after that, you were of course again surprised when she shot at you. But considering what you were surprised about, a strange phenomenon occurs here. Director Cosmos, what is strange about your surprise reaction is the fact that you were surprised.
He was more surprised when Arm came.
Right.
Sure, you were surprised when Detective Arm shot at you. But the surprise you felt when she found you in the lounge was much greater. The fact that you were more surprised by simply being found than by being shot at suggests to me that you were conflicted about whatever it was you were doing there. The enemy has acquired a new weapon. Commence Operation Hide Under Your Desk. Ah! Please tell me I finally sunk his battleship. Nope.
Boss, I'm getting this Discord now. That must mean he really is hiding something about that launch pad door.
Whatever he's hiding most likely has something to do with the killer's escape.
I wonder what it could be.
If he was doing something suspicious around that door. Maybe we can spot some change between before he came to the room and after.
Detective Fulbright gave us a photo taken after the crime. Let's run a comparison. Let's see.
Open your eyes.
Open my eyes?
Yeah.
Let's see. This is footage of the door before Director Cosmos arrived. And this is how the door looked after the director entered the lounge.
Hey, look at that! There is a change! Something's definitely different.
Did you see anything?
Nope.
That's a shame. I
It was open, wasn't it?
It took me a while to realize too. It took me a while to realize too.
You said that detective? Hold on. Where that footage?
The footage. I think go back.
This is the door
Yeah,
they was talking
that's-
about. Ooh, this the
That's
door.
the door.
What's up, Miles? Miles, stopping prowess in the house. How's it going? Oh, this right here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, the thing is up.
Mm-hmm.
You know the where she was talking about like a stove.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got it.
I'm talking about to the left of the hand recognition machine, you guys. Do I present that?
Yeah, later.
Oh.
Director Cosmos.
Hey, Yeety, what's going on? Well, Yoshi is my oldest YouTube name. I changed it randomly sometimes or whenever. Yeah, I see that now. Yoshi Power. You know, Yoshi is the guy too. He's the whatever he is. What is Yoshi? A dinosaur?
Yeah, dino.
I don't know what Yoshi is.
I don't know what Yoshi is.
I guess he's a dinosaur.
What is it? What have you two been up to over there? Find the answer to what you've been doing when Detective Arm found you. That's what. And that answer lies clearly in this footage. All we have to do is compare it to the photo that was taken during the investigation. Don't be ridiculous. If you really do have an answer, you would have pointed it out already. He's asking for it. This is what changed directly after the incident.
Yeah, she got it. Yeah. Hold on.
That's not it?
No, you got it.
Take that!
The answer is this knob. No, not! Your Honor, please take a look at this footage.
Let's see.
Take a look at the knob next to the launch pad door. As you can see, it's horizontal.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
However, when we investigated the scene of the crime yesterday, the knob was vertical.
And what does that mean?
It means that sometime between before the director arrived and after, someone turned this knob. No! After the scene was discovered, you were the only one who could have turned the knob. Come on now, Director Cosmos. Let's hear what you have to say. What were you trying to do by turning that knob by the door? Fine, I admit it. You're right. I did turn that knob. That knob is a safety lock meant to keep the launch pad in place. I was afraid there would be more explosions. So I wanted to move the launch pad away. You wanted to do what?
Hey, didn't Punko tell us something about how they prefer to prepare for lunch? She said that once the launch pad's fully assembled, it's moved to the launch site. But the safety lock in the boarding lounge has to be disengaged first.
I guess that clears up what the knob is for.
Oh? So if the killer escaped into the launch pad 1 corridor, maybe they were transported along with the launch pad to the launch site.
I don't think so. The launch pad 1 corridor was filled with smoke. I don't think they could have escaped through that corridor.
So then where did the killer escape to?
I guess there are still some things we have to uncover. Director Cosmos, I request that you tell us about moving the launch pad in more detail. Fine, but listen carefully, for I'm about to give history-making testimony. I had no choice but to disengage the safety lock. I feared there might be more explosions. So I had to cut the launch pad loose. Surely the only escape the killer had was through the launch pad 1. But that area was a sea of smoke. Confound it! Where on earth could they have gone?
The director seems driven into a corner now. I can't tell. He's having a hard time hiding his true feelings.
Just one final push then.
His attempts to conceal the truth shouldn't be all that hard for us to break through. If we keep at it calmly, I'm sure we'll cross the finish line.
Okay. I think you could tell.
I had no choice but to disengage the safety lock. You was happy?
I had no choice but to disengage the safety lock.
You were giddy about that.
Oh, he was happy. Is that it?
Yeah.
Got it!
I had no choice but to disengage the safety lock. You make it sound like you were reluctant to do so. And yet, when you did it, you felt some joy, as if you were very pleased with yourself. Ah! How do you do it? How do you know everything as if you were there?
Pretty impressive, isn't it? This is the power of analytical psychology. Really, that's a tongue twister there. Anyway.
So, care to explain why you felt joy when you disengaged the safety lock? When I think back on the facts we've discovered up to this point, I have to believe that you were trying to fulfill some hidden agenda. Ah! How do you know about that too? Because I'm more or less a pro at guessing. But you have no proof that I had a hidden agenda. And even if I did, I would never, ever tell you. So there. I know they say people regress as they grow older, but you, sir, take the cake. And how could you doubt a man with such great intensity, intelligence, and integrity?
Silence!
You, a man of integrity, don't make me laugh. Prosecutor Blackwell? What came over him all of a sudden? You've spouted nothing but falsities since you stepped up to the stand. You're not the kind of man that will be glorified in the annals of history. Not for greatness, anyway. Unless you consider greatness greatest barefaced fibber and honor. Fibber? His words bite harder than his blade. You moved Launchpad 1 after the explosions. My, how naive you are. You fail to realize how even the facts themselves have betrayed you. You know, just a thought, but modern English can be your friend. And here's a thought for you. Immediately following the bombing, Launchpad 1 was on the boarding lounge 1 side. The police confirmed this on scene. What?
Well,
So that means that the director didn't move the launch pad.
Curse my judgment for calling history's greatest fibber to the witness stand. Let us leave him to indulge in his fibs and war games to his heart's content.
For the fibber!
Objection!
But it doesn't make sense! You can't deny that someone turned that knob. And once the safety lock was released, I'm sure the pad must have went somewhere. If we chase down the truth of this issue, we just might find what a killer escaped to. Ah! You're sure it must have went somewhere? We just might find out? Your arguments are nothing but conjecture, bluffing, and wishful thinking. Stop chasing your fantasies and see reality for what it really is. Or are you not man enough to, boy?
Now you calling Phoenix a boy now.
God!
he was mad about that.
Haha, talk about hitting below the belt.
Youngins these days. I don't understand it. I'm sure Director Cosmos must have moved the launch pad. The knob was definitely turned after he came to the lounge. But the launch pad is right where it's supposed to be. Ugh! Wait a minute. Maybe I have it all backwards. What if the director turned the knob, not to move the launch pad away, but to bring it back to where it was supposed to be? What are you blathering about? What if the launch pad was at the launch site before the incident? And then, after the incident, Director Cosmos moved it back to its usual spot. All he had to do was turn the knob to call the launch pad back. And it would be right where the police found it! God!
He cut off his curl.
You made him sound like Mr. Starbuck.
Was what I said really that off base? It pains me to have to explain how wrong your own logic is to you. However, our great fibber turned the knob only after he discovered the crime scene. Indeed, the pad existed beyond the lounge when our Astro Wonders made their escape. A fact that has been recorded for posterity on filmless film. Alright. So, to reiterate, stop chasing your fantasies and see reality for what it really is, boy. Ah!
Get a grip, Mr. Wright. And focus. We need the launch pad. Well, we know the launch pad must have been moved.
Our deductions and the actual facts of the case are in direct contradiction to each other.
Well, maybe the two astronauts never actually boarded the rocket. This footage could be fake, taken with body doubles after the incident or something. On second thought, that's too far-fetched even for me.
Never actually boarded the rocket? Hey, wait a minute! Maybe, just maybe.
Huh?
Prosecutor Blackwell, what if I told you that the two astronauts never set foot inside the launch pad area, but instead went to another place? And what if when the director moved launch pad 1 back, it was not from the launch site, but from another place? What would you say then? Cut the existential. Cut the existential stuff, or I'll cut you.
Mr. Wright, you will explain yourself at once.
I know I'm right. It was all the other way around from the beginning. Very well, Your Honor. Let me explain.
Director Cosmos' reason for moving Launchpad 1 was to trap the true killer.
To
He's
switch
still
it
in there,
another
guys.
place?
Yes.
Because he wanted to switch it with some other place.
I'm sorry, but did you say switch it? But what could he possibly have switched the launch pad with?
Oh, you'd be surprised, Your Honor. All it takes is a little thinking outside the box, and the answer becomes clear as day. This is what we switch with Launchpad 1. What was switched?
What was switched with launch pad 1?
What was switched right?
With the Space Museum?
Yes!
Take that!
Launchpad 1 was switched with the Space Museum. In the past, the Space Museum used to be Launchpad 2. It has all the same features as Launchpad 1. It can even be moved to the launch site. Meaning, the Space Museum and Launchpad 1 can also be switched with each other.
You can't mean.
The rocket the astronaut boarded was not the one in Launchpad 1. It was the one in the Space Museum.
What?
Balderdash! And yet, it's the only explanation that accounts for every riddle and inconsistency. This is how the Space Center was just before the incident.
I see Launchpad 1 and the Space Museum have already switched places.
That's right. And with the two switched like this, the astronauts entered the Space Museum from boarding lounge 1. This allowed the true killer to enter the Launchpad 1 from boarding lounge 2 and set the bomb on the rocket.
Come to think of it, the door to the Space Museum from boarding lounge 2. Welcome, welcome. The Space Museum is open to the public every day of the year from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Exactly. Anyone can pass through the door to the Space Museum.
That's how it sounds. That's how it sounds.
Ah, that was you. Ah, that's my bad. I thought that was Sabina anyway.
There's no fingerprint recognition system on that door. In other words, with the two launch pads switched like that, someone other than Mr. Starbuck could have easily planted that bomb. Gah! After setting the bomb on the rocket, the culprit snuck into boarding lounge 1 and waited there, concealed, in order to kill Mr. Terran when the two astronauts emerged from the Space Museum. We call that Miss Blackwell and Mr. Starbuck and the director all saw a suspicious figure, who we can suppose after killing Mr. Terran made their escape into the Space Museum. After that, Director Cosmos switched the two launch pads back, without realizing the killer was inside the Space Museum. The killer then left the Space Museum and made a clean getaway. I don't know. I see you know how to handle a sword and handle it well. Perhaps I should call you Sword Master Bluff.
Link.
I'm a seasoned warrior who has cut down many a prosecutor.
Silence!
But
But unless you can prove your theory, it's no better than a rusty sword.
That's right! You have no proof I switched the launch pads! Somebody needs a better anger management counselor.
If the launch pad really were switched, there might be a record of it somewhere.
At this point, Launchpad 1 and the Space Museum were switched with each other.
So the corridor beyond the door should be the one that belongs to the Space Museum. Let's see, this is an image of the Launchpad 1 corridor. Did you see anything different when we compare it to the security footage? I don't know what I'm looking at, but anyway.
This is the one for the boarding lounge to the rocket.
Huh?
The number
We're on the floor!
They pointed it out for you.
Ah, that one on the floor.
Yeah.
Well, what do you know? It looks like we have proof after all, Prosecutor Blackwell.
And if this is just another bluff?
Oh, don't worry. It's all right here. Right in this footage. Proof that beyond this door is the corridor to the Space Museum.
The number 2 back there.
Yep.
Very well. Then answer this for me, if you would. What in this footage proves that the corridor belongs to the Space Museum?
Number 2.
Take that!
There's a 1 on the floor of the Launchpad 1 corridor. But take a look at the floor of the corridor in the security footage. Do you see the number on the floor behind the astronauts? It doesn't look like a 1, does it? That's because what you see is actually part of a 2. What?
Uh-oh.
Why is it a 2 and not a 1? That's because the corridor you see is the one up to the Space Museum. Gah!
And so that means the corridor in this footage was not filled with smoke.
That's right, because the explosion didn't occur in the Space Museum. The explosion occurred in Launchpad 1, on the opposite side of the Space Museum. And now that we know that the 2 astronauts escaped from the Space Museum, the mystery from the previous trial of how they got down the ladder is cleared up. Mr. Tarrant Carey and Mr. Starbuck simply took the elevator from the upper level down to the middle level.
Just incredible, the 2 launch pads were actually switched. But you'd think someone would have noticed an event of this magnitude.
Everyone was down in the basement shelter when the launch pads were swapped back. There's no way anyone could have known what was happening on the surface.
Noise level 0%. Info update.
Ooh.
Oh, A.
Yeah, that's always weird.
Bye-bye. No more fibs, Director Cosmos. It's high time you told us the truth. Ah! My honor, my glory, everything is slipping away. Time to deploy my ultimate weapon, Galactic Engine. What? It's going haywire. Aha! It won't stop. Ah! My stars, my glory. Ah! Ah! No, not that way. Ah!
You know, lost control of the thing. But bailiff, on your steed, and after that witness.
Get him before he falls off a cliff.
You so silly. I see we managed to retrieve you before you came to in bodily harm.
Director Cosmos, do you admit you switched the launch pads? I admit, it's true. I switched launch pad 1 for the Space Museum.
Oh, it's good to hear words I can believe for a change.
Before you do, Your Honor, 2 things. First, we don't know if Mr. Terran had prior knowledge of the switch. As for Mr. Starbuck, he was unaware of his surroundings thanks to his medication. Either way, Mr. Terran will have realized the instant he stepped into the Space Museum that had been switched with Launchpad 1. So my first question is, if the Space Museum was perfectly fine, why did Mr. Terran feel the need to put on such a dramatic display? As for my second question, I'd like Director Cosmos to tell us why he switched to 2 launch pads to begin with. Please, I can't. I exercise my right to remain silent. But I will say, my hands were tied. I was only doing what I could to keep my men from getting caught in that blast.
So he knew about the blast. The director is terrified. He must have a reason for not wanting to explain why.
Probably not a good time to try and pry it out of him, huh?
Excuse me, but would you mind if I picked up my stars? Without my badge of rank, I'm nothing.
I don't see now white. I don't see why not, Caleb. Help the director retrieve his stars. It appears the possibility of a culprit other than the defendant has presented itself. Mr. Starbuck, is there anything you wish to say?
I don't get it.
Don't get it? What don't you get?
Director, why'd you do all that? From the very beginning, you never meant to launch the... From the very beginning, you never meant for the launch to go ahead, did you? You tricked us!
Mr. Starbuck.
Starbuck, my boy, I'm sorry. I can't tell you the reason why. But I had to do it to protect the Space Center. Director! Well,
You really do.
Will I ever get the chance to go into space again? Yes, of course. I won't rest until it happens. I will get you into space again, my boy.
Who's that other girl over there?
You'll see.
Then the dream is still alive.
Silence.
You're not going into space, Starbuck, but prison. I won't have it any other way.
Why are you so hung up on him?
Yes, I accept that the launch pads really were switched. And if there were a third person at the scene, I suppose they could have escaped. But I have yet to see proof of this third person's escape via the Space Museum.
Oh, that's a good point.
He's right. I don't have any proof. Starbuck, you will spill everything you know. What? Me? Alive! Where did you get those bombs? Tell me now! If you don't, my blade shall feast on your blood. If I'm gonna die, I wanna die in space! I have to do something. Solomon Starbuck, prepare yourself. Now, you know violence isn't the answer, Prosecutor Blackwell? That annoyingly cheerful laugh. It can be none other than... Champion of Righteousness, Bobby Fulbright! In justice we trust! Detective Fulbright? Sorry to keep you waiting, Mr. Lawyer. I hope I'm not too late. I don't believe we had an appointment. I tried to hurry, but I ended up helping a little old lady across the street. And then I had to break up a cat fight. I tell ya, just as sure as a full-time job. Was it a fight between cats or... Why are you here again? Because the defendant isn't the culprit, and I came to make sure that justice is served. I don't have any idea what you're talking about. Fulbright, I always thought you were a bit touched in the head. But have you finally succumbed?
I said that. Yeah, I said the same thing. Same thing.
Nope, but it looks like you succumbed to the phantom of yours. Open your eyes and let the evidence of justice uncloud your judgment. What evidence?
Come to think of it, he did say something about finding us some evidence.
Thanks, you two. I feel a lot better now that I've been able to get that off my chest. I'm gonna work extra hard to find the perfect piece of evidence for you.
I don't think he was serious, though.
So what is it, Detective? Is it something that will prove Mr. Starbuck innocent? It is indeed. Have a look at this.
What's this? A lighter?
That's right! A lighter thought to have been used by the culprit, no less. The Space Museum's cleaning robot picked it up. It has the victim Clay Terran's blood, along with his killer's fingerprints on it. What? Ah!
It's getting interesting. Order, Detective Fulbright. Can I assume that the fingerprints don't belong to the defendant?
You bet! Mr. Starbuck is totally innocent. This is it. This is just what I needed.
Lighter added to the court record. The lighter found on the floor of the Space Museum. The true culprit's fingerprints are on it in the victim's blood.
Your Honor, this is decisive evidence that supports the defense's earlier claim.
Explain yourself, Mr. Wright.
With pleasure, Your Honor. Recall where this lighter was found. Based on that, we can extrapolate that after the killer murdered Mr. Terran, they escaped with lighter in hand into the Space Museum, where they dropped it. The switching of the two launch pads occurred. Then finally, the killer left through Boarding Lounge 2 and made their escape. Meanwhile, Mr. Starbuck was found in Boarding Lounge 1 after the murder. A fact that Director Cosmos has testified to. Therefore, Mr. Starbuck couldn't have possibly been the one that dropped the lighter there.
Silence.
But the defendant had free reign of the area until Director Cosmos appeared. Could he not have dropped the lighter in the Space Museum during that span of time?
Objection!
You'd like that to be true, wouldn't you? But Director Cosmos testified that right after he saw the mysterious figure with a lighter, he went into the lounge and found the unconscious Mr. Starbuck. In other words, Mr. Starbuck wouldn't have had the time to double back to the museum. No, Prosecutor Blackwell, this lighter could have only been dropped by the real killer. Most importantly, Mr. Starbuck's fingerprints were nowhere to be found on this lighter. I think you understand what this means, don't you? This piece of evidence unequivocally proves that Mr. Starbuck wasn't the culprit.
This does indeed appear to be decisive evidence that proves the defense's claim.
As for the remote switch that was found in Mr. Starbuck's pocket, we can assume it was planted by the killer on the unconscious Mr. Starbuck. No, there must be some mistake. Frankly, Prosecutor Blackwell, I've been worried about you. You've been chasing this phantom for 7 whole years. I understand your urgency because tomorrow...
Silence.
Fulbright, you promised never to speak of that. Huh? Tomorrow? What about tomorrow?
Given the body of evidence, I think it's safe to say the defendant is innocent. In light of the fact that it was impossible for him to have committed the crime, a few unanswered questions remain, so I look forward to seeing what you two uncover. But for now, this court finds the defendant, Solomon Starbuck, not guilty. Yes, we did it, Mr. Wright.
Looks like we pulled it off somehow, huh? With some help from Detective Fulbright. Mr. Wright, Miss Sykes, thank you. And please thank Apollo for me, too. You all are the best.
Ooh, I wish I could tell Apollo about Mr. Starbuck's verdict right now.
Yeah, me too. But that's gonna have to wait.
Thank you, Dave. Now that a verdict has been reached, I'd like to bring today's trial to a close. Court is adjourned. What's about to happen?
Objection!
It's too late to object, isn't it? It simply isn't possible. Something's wrong.
Prosecutor Blackwell? Are you dissatisfied with the verdict?
Fulbright, what were the results of the fingerprint analysis for the lighter? Huh? The results? Well, I was in a hurry, you see, and then there was that cat fight, and well... I kinda got carried away when I heard the prints weren't Mr. Starbucks, so... You have yet to read it. Prosecutor Blackwell, can you read out who the prints belong to? Upon thorough analysis, the fingerprints...
Drum roll.
Were found to belong to Athena Sykes.
What? Athena?
So says the report.
What?
What? Oh?
Me? She do touch everything. Order, I say. Miss Sykes, tell me you have an explanation for this. We just finished proving that this lighter could only belong to the killer. So finding your prints on it can only lead to us to one grave conclusion. I don't know how they got on there, but I know I'm not the culprit.
This can't be happening. We built up our argument piece by piece. And I don't think any of our reasoning was faulty. So how could it have led to this?
Writer updated in the court record. Evidence found by Detective Fulbright. It has Athena's prints on it in the victim's blood.
Ah! What have I done? Please forgive me. I'm sorry.
Order. Detective Fulbright, stop your crying.
What in the world is happening here? It's like the world's gone mad.
Order. I will have order.
Confusion spiraled into other chaos. After all, we'd fought for the truth and turned cruelly on us to... Wait. After all we'd fought for, the truth had turned cruelly on us to accuse Athena of the crimes. Somewhere, somehow, everything had gone terribly wrong. We had stumbled over the edge of reason and into the jaws of a twisted darkness.
The end.
That's it?
Yep. Athena!
How would she want to kill Apollo's friend?
Athena!
And how was her prints on it?
Why was they on it, Mama?
Did she possibly pick it up and put it down accidentally? So what's next?
Turnabout for tomorrow, baby.
So that's the end of that case,
Yep.
isn't it?
Like I was telling you, the fourth case and the fifth case are linked together. Like it's like a continuation of sorts.
Okie dokie, y'all. That's surprising. I didn't figure Athena's prints would be on the what murder weapon
Let me tell you.
or the lighter.
There are a lot of things you don't know.
What you mean? What you
I ain't
mean?
saying
Tom?
nothing else.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you all for watching. I'll let you all go. I've had you all enough tonight. All right, Dave, Game Queen 81, you had Garrison in the chat, Canopy, and Miles, Dr. Power, and Yeti was in the chat. Thank you all for chatting. Also, thank you all for watching. And yeah, if you're watching and you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, I appreciate if you'll subscribe. I appreciate all the new subscribers too. We're almost at 200, you guys. Yay! That's I was surprised, but thank you all. Thank you all to the new subscribers as well. I appreciate you all. All right, and I will talk to you all on the next one. You all take care. You said she was set up, Dave. Hey, never know. You never know. But I'll talk to you all on the next one.